College Tuition by Emerson McKinney and Katie Peacock.
Thesis. Due to the current competitive nature of college recruiting, the cost of tuition continues to rise, leaving graduates in a crippling debt crisis that results in an economy that lacks necessary spending from its newest generation of consumers.
History/context. Describe the genre as related to your topic. Colleges and universities were first being created as early as 1636, with Harvard being the first ever colonial college. Eventually, the education widened from just teaching ministry to other topics such as law and medicine. The Morrill Act of 1962 granted land to each state to create their own universities, with a wider range of topics taught. In the 20th century, some of the most famous figures of the time donated money in the pursuit of improving higher education, including Andrew Carnegie, who founded what is now Carnegie Mellon University.
What initiated the economic policy? As the price of higher education has increased, government has increased the ability for students to take out loans or receive grants to cover the cost of college. Additionally, government has taken measures to improve the transparency of college costs, with the 2010 federal law requiring schools to give accurate tuition, room and board costs, as well as estimations on the other cost of fees, books, and personal expenses.
Give the current/past conditions as to why there needed to be an amendment change or federal law. Currently, the amount of student loan debt in America is almost $1.5 trillion, with the average cost of four-year institutions as of the 2018-19 school year coming in at over $40,000. Some of the highest tuitions come from acclaimed schools like University of Chicago, Harvey-Mudd College, Columbia, Yale, USC, all totaling at over $70,000. With the astronomical prices for top-rate higher education and the worsening debt crisis, there needs to be a change that lowers the current costs so graduates are able to leave with a degree and without a crippling debt.
Laws. What are the current laws as it pertains to the economic problem? What are the perspectives given by current law? There are currently no laws regarding the high cost of tuition and the debt it puts millions of people into. The lack of government intervention is on the one hand good, because it means there is an increased number of financial support options, and it prevents the government from having what some would feel is too much power over higher education. However, this has allowed colleges and universities to charge tuition and other fees that leave students unable to handle the financial burden without some form of aid.
Data. Provide data and statistics that reveal or uncover truths about the policy or keep current policies at the status quo. Currently, the student loan debt is over $1 trillion.
According to a 2014 study conducted by economist Wenli Lee, loan balances increased the most for borrowers aged 30 to 55, with middle-aged borrowers struggling the most to pay back their loans.
Between 2006 and 7 and 2016-17, prices for undergraduate tuition, fees, room, and board at public institutions rose 31%, and prices at private non-profit institutions rose 24%. As seen in the visual to the side, student debt is the fastest growing household debt in the United States, seeing almost 157% growth since the Great Recession.
This chart illustrates the rising cost of education and education resources from 2006 to 2016.
This chart illustrates the percentage of master degree completers with student loans. As you can see, all the percentages are over 50%, with the highest coming in at 70%.
Sharpening the argument. Identify the leading voices, past, present, behind the issue. Democrats Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are both advocating for debt-free college for undergraduate students. Elizabeth wants an additional $100 billion in Pell Grants for low-income students that can be used for tuition costs. According to Forbes, President Trump is proposing a cap on the amount parents and graduate students can borrow from the federal government at an unspecified amount. This may or may not become law, but the theory here is that capping the amount of borrowing would force colleges to lower their tuition.
How have these voices, scholars, activists, or politicians, shaped the narrative of the policies? Since 2016, there have been serious protests about having debt-free college, and many want higher-paying jobs on campus. This year, politicians made it a top priority to focus on student debt in upcoming campaigns. Although many politicians had different plans about how to approach this problem, they were working really hard to find and propose a solution.
Evaluate both sides of the economic argument for amending or protecting current policies. The Democrat side is not very realistic. Although Elizabeth Warren has a great plan, it would be extremely difficult to be able to sustain free college for a long period of time. Offering debt-free college to lower-income students could cause an uproar because it's not being offered to all students. The additional Pell Grant money is not nearly enough for this to take place. President Trump's plan is more realistic, but capping federal aid could backfire because colleges might not drop tuition rates. This would cause less students to be attending college, eventually making it difficult for them to get jobs and contribute to society.
Consequences. Examine consequences and unintended consequences of policy. If schools lower their tuition rates, there will be a decrease in events and opportunities provided by the school because of lack of funds, and buildings and dorm rooms also would not be able to be renovated as frequently, as well as amenities on campus would not be as nice. Salaries of teachers across the country would be lowered significantly, which could cause major uproars from the teacher unions and cause the school problems. Another issue is by the government taking on more responsibility with student aid, this would cause our national debt levels to rise significantly.
Examine and evaluate the financial cost benefits and the social cost benefits of the policy. There would be many financial benefits to families if tuition costs and debt were to go down. This would allow more students to attend college, especially the college of their choice, allowing them to have better jobs and contribute more to the economy. This would overall improve the lives of millions of American families and would allow kids to learn in the classroom but also outside of the classroom, which would allow these kids to learn and experience more and take those outside of the classroom learning experiences to the real world.
Solution and results. Is your solution an example of distributive justice or commutative justice? Distributive justice.
Evaluate if the economic policy does enough to correct the problem it was intended to resolve. Currently, there is no economic policy in place to solve the problem. Though many politicians have ideas on how to solve the problem, many are either unrealistic or not strong enough to tackle the issue in full.
Is there an alternative viable solution? We believe that although government would have to treat the situation carefully, by putting a cap on the amount that colleges and universities could charge would help ease the financial burden on students, allowing them to graduate and enrich the economy more than current graduates are able to do at this time.
Sources.
Hi, Mr. Martinez!
We miss you.
We can't forget.
If you'd like to provide your address,
Can